Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely evening. Today I'm going to hit you with a surprise. Are you ready? I know you probably weren't expecting this if you've been watching this channel for any period of time. I guarantee you're going to be stunned, stultified, horrified, shocked. Manhattan office space vacancy is hitting a record as landlords add space. Can you imagine that? People are deciding to not re-up on their leases in New York City. The renovation of 660 Fifth Avenue has added more office space. Rising vacancy rates put pressure on office landlords. Manhattan's office vacancy rate is at a record high as new developments add even more space to the struggling market. More than 16% of space was empty as of the first quarter, according to brokerage Jones Lang LaSalle, which tracks 470 million square feet of Manhattan offices. And I would dare say that it's probably more than that. I've gone over this in several of my videos where I just kind of walk around the city and show you how empty all of this stuff is. Pretty much just walking down the block, you will see, just walking down a major street, everything is empty. It's just retail space for lease after retail space for lease. And as you'll notice, this video is not really edited. It's literally just me walking down the block. It's just graffiti, paper on the windows, retail space for lease. And this is on one of the most busy blocks in New York City. This is 7th Avenue in Chelsea. It's insanely expensive to have a business here. It's very, very, one of the higher end places, one of the better, well-known places where people used to be fighting to be able to have their business or their store here. And now at this point, there's more retail space for lease posters than actual signs for open businesses. So I think that 16% might be a little on the low side of the estimate. It says you're having this anemic leasing activity. More space is being added in the form of newly constructed or newly renovated space, but also sublease space continues to pile up, said Andrew Lim, director of research at JLL. And one of the reasons that this is, and one of the things that I've been going over for the past 4 years in this channel since I decided to move my store to a new space, is that part of the reason for this is that the prices of everything are insane. This place is about the size of my store. It's less than 2,800 square feet when you measure it, and it's $75,000 a month. There is nobody that can make $75,000 a month selling stuff out of this store. That's just not possible unless you're using it for money laundering or meth dealing or something. This over here is $25,000 a month for what essentially looks like a garage that is being used as a clothing closet. This is $25,000 a month right here. This is not $25,000 a month worth of store. This is a large walk-in closet, or maybe, to be generous, I could call it a garage, and this is going for $25,000 a month. And the part that it really, really gets crazy here is when they say what the price is. When you scroll down, it says average rents remain flat at $76.96 a square foot. $76.96 a square foot. Now, there's two reasons that that's crazy. The first is that my other store that I had in 2019 that I got rid of last year and moved out of permanently, that I'm sorry, that always gives me a fresh smile when I say it.
How many square feet?
Yep, I got you. 2,500.
All right, 2,500. Okay, front section is 472. I mean, that's the thing. It actually is the amount of space that I do need.
Oh, it is?
It's just given that it's 1,700 square feet, not 2,500, I'd be willing.
I'm going to tell you, you have to stop living in the, you got to be in reality here.
This is a mathematical representation of reality as it is.
Because I mark up my prices, but I also don't lie about the shit that I'm selling and claim it's something it's not.
They're not lying. It's commercial real estate.
It's not lying. It's commercial real estate. This is something unique to New York City that doesn't exist in the rest of the country. It's called loss factor. It's where they advertise the space as 2,000 square feet. You show up and it's 1,000 square feet, and that's called loss factor. That's called loss factor. You just deal with it, where they claim that, there's stuff inside the walls of the building and there's the lobby and all of that, and they take that and instead of just charge you honestly for what it is you're getting, they just try to claim that all this other stuff is also being paid for in your square footage. It's very, very weird, and it has absolutely no basis in reality, and it is a completely different rate based on how much that specific realtor is bullshitting you. But the point here is that office real estate has a much higher loss factor than retail real estate. So that place that was advertised as 2,500 square feet was actually only 1,700, which may seem to you like a lie to the tune of about 30 to 40%, but in reality, that's actually not that bad by New York City standards. What's really bad is office real estate, where they lie by 50, 60, sometimes up to 70% in loss factor. And the thing is, when they say that it's $76.96 a square foot here, if we're being generous, that's probably actually closer to 100 when you measure it. When I said my store was $66 a square foot, that was based on the honest square footage measured by my laser measurer. In reality, if we were to laser measure any of these spaces, that average would actually go up to 100 or 100. They're $25 a square foot, which would make it about twice the price of my old store. You have to understand how ridiculous this is, that the average price to lease office space in New York City right now is about double what it was pre-pandemic when you're looking at my store's price. Work from home, check. Economic destruction, check. Hundreds of thousands of people moved out, check. New supply on the market, check. Price goes up, check. It doesn't matter. It never matters. Literally, the entire city could be empty and they would not care. They would still ask for over $100 per square foot for space that nobody is using. As I go over in this video, retail space for lease, retail space for lease, retail space for lease with graffiti, retail space for lease with a messed up looking window. This doesn't say for lease, it's just gross and nasty. Retail space for lease over here. And it's just, you walk, and it says COVID. That made me laugh over there. This place has the storefront is like completely destroyed looking. Literally the entire city, they could have a 99% vacancy rate. They're still going to want $100 per square foot for absolute garbage. It fundamentally boggles the mind how stubborn these people are. And one of the things that Eric Adams mentions in this article is we have to reinvent our office space, adding that the space should be converted to housing. We have a housing crisis. We have structures already built. No, you don't. No, you don't. These spaces are made to be offices. This is fundamentally not feasible. Many of these buildings are set up to be offices, not apartments. How are you going to get windows to people? How are you going to get plumbing to all these people? This is like apartments have plumbing, something like every 40 or 50 feet for a shower and everything else. This is stuff that a lot of offices don't have. Apartment buildings are set up so that everybody in the building, even the person with the cheapest apartment, has a window. Offices are not set up in this way where, there are things that people expect when they live in an apartment that they don't get in an office, and they're going to want that. Secondly, it's going to cost you an insane amount of money to actually do the construction to convert all this. And do keep in mind, we're talking about real estate that's already $76.96 a square foot as is. So again, when I show you this stuff in the city, when I show you this place that's like 2,900 square feet, that's $75,000 a month, or this place that's $25,000 a month for 1,200 square feet, if you take that place that's $25,000 a month for 1,200 square feet, even if you're giving people like 600 square feet studio apartments, like what, you're going to charge people $12,000 a month for an apartment? You're not making this into affordable housing. You're not even making this into upper middle class housing. This is going to be housing for the ultra rich like anything else, because everything is still expensive. Just because you convert it from an office to an apartment does not mean you fix the problem. And dare I say it, if you're going to be paying for construction to do that work, it's going to be even more expensive than it was as an office, because you have to find a way to make up for the money you spent on construction. Thirdly, when it comes to actually building in New York City, there is so much bureaucracy and red tape to do a basic apartment renovation. Look at this. This is a basic apartment renovation here. And you can't see through the door or the window of this gentleman's building because it is literally covered in fucking paper. It is covered in permits everywhere. And by the time you finally get approved for this permit, this one's expired. And when you get approved for this one, then that one's expired. It takes so long to do a basic renovation as it is. And you are going to then compound that. Again, this is just basic small renovations here and there. You want to convert almost every office building in the city into an apartment. Oh, good luck with that. You're going to spend 20 years trying to get that through Department of Buildings before you actually get anything done, much less the amount of money you're going to spend on it, much less the fact that by the time you're done with it, you are going to be stuck with a bunch of $6,000 to $12,000 a month studios, because that's what they're going to charge. Again, what we're talking about here, again, $25K a month with a bathroom and a basement that looks, straight out of 1955. Imagine how much this stuff is going to cost once they've actually paid to renovate it. That's not solving any of the problem. You're just pretending that you have a solution to the problem because it sounds good. Saying that you can fix this problem by converting the commercial real estate into residential is something you say because it sounds good and gets people to cheer, when in reality, it is not feasible or practical and will never happen. None of these people are going to learn their lesson until it is too late. Their hubris is going to be their downfall, because they could rent these spaces out for reasonable rates, yet they refuse to. And here's the thing. The more places that are vacant, the less business that's going to be in the area, the less people that will be in the area, therefore the less demand for other businesses, which means that those other businesses will leave as well. And then when those businesses leave, there will be less people left to serve the people that were serving those businesses, and so on and so forth. And just this little domino effect. Again, if this office leaves, maybe that juice bar downstairs doesn't have as much business, so the juice bar leaves. Once all the juice bars and small restaurants leave, the restaurant supply store leaves. Once the restaurant supply store leaves, you see where I'm going here. The longer this goes on, the more it will hollow out, and the more it hollows out, the more difficult it will be to get anybody back. even at $40 or $30 a square foot. Because once there's no more customer base left, once the businesses all leave, there's no reason to be there at any price, which is a lesson that they're probably not going to figure out until it's too late. Luckily, I had a very well negotiated lease by my lawyer, so I was able to hand over the keys, hand over the last month's rent, and I believe that was the right decision to make, and I can't say that I'm regretting it. I think as this goes on, more people are going to realize that A, the cat that I have sitting on the armrest here is absolutely gorgeous and grand, but more importantly, some things are more important than you, Clinton. More importantly, as time goes on, I think more people are going to realize that it doesn't make sense to spend $75 to $150 a square foot to be in an area with a declining number of businesses with customers that they can actually serve. Why not be in an area where real estate is $30 a square foot, or $15 a square foot, or $5 a square foot? The longer they keep everything empty, the more difficult it's going to be to get anybody to come back. But in order for it to not be empty, you have to stop charging insane rates. They can build until the cows come home. But if there's nobody there to actually use the real estate, what does it matter? If all of those buildings are built, but it's still $75 a square foot, they will remain empty. And none of them seem to understand this basic fact. Let me know if you think they're ever going to understand this basic fact. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now. It takes you so long to do basic renovations. Blackberry, you got to stop that shit. You know, something. Okay, that's just kind of weird. Barry, can you cut the shit?